Okay, since I am not here today, I am going to be doing this worksheet and recording myself doing it so it can be played for you in class. Here we go. Starting with the first one, plot the following points on the coordinate plane and label them as A, B, C, or D. So we just got to make sure, realize that we're going by ones here. So I'm going to just label that again in our class. If you don't label it, we're just assuming that you're going by ones, but that just gives us a nice little reference to put these points in there. Point A, and it goes X first, then Y when you're doing coordinates. So that's 4 on X and 7 on Y. So we're going to go 4 to the right, 7 up, and label that as point A. For point B, it's at -3, 5. So we're going to go 3 to the left and 5 up. So there's point B. Point C is 4, -1. So that would be 4 to the right and 1 down. So that's point C. And then point D is at 0, 6. That's going to be right on the y-axis. So I'm going to just change the color there. And that is point D. There they are. So that's all there is to it on that one. Just label them A, B, C, or D. Okay, for these, determining if they represent a proportional relationship or not. Remember, if it's a line, it needs to go through 0, 0, and it needs to be straight. So, it's a graph, it needs to be straight, and it needs to go through 0, 0. So this one does, it goes right through 0, 0, and it's straight. So this is a proportion. Or it's proportional because the line is straight and it goes through 0, 0. So this one is not a proportion because it doesn't go through 0, 0. So this one's not proportional. So you have to write this down, not proportional because it doesn't go through 0, 0. Oops. And this last one's a table, so we have to figure out if this represents a proportional relationship. For that to happen, you have to be able to make equal fractions, either vertically, like this, as 2/4 equal 8/16, or horizontally, where you say, okay, 2/8, does that equal 4/16? Either way, you can see this one works out perfectly. It does represent a proportional relationship. Because 2/4 does equal 8/16. They both are equal to 1/2. So yes, this is a proportional relationship. So because we can make equal fractions, or we can set up a proportion. The equal fractions are a proportion. Out of the coordinates. And if you were to graph this, you would see that it would draw a line right on through. So let's see here. Next one. Decide whether the following points, whether each of the following points is on the line y equals -1/2 x plus 1. So with each of them, you're going to plug the point into y equals -1/2 x plus 1. So I'm just going to, for my work, duplicate that a few times. I'm going to want it there, and then I want it over there. And when I go through this, I'm going to plug in x and y and see if it makes it true. So each of these has an x and a y. So I'm going to take the y value, put it in there, take the x value, put it in there, and see if it comes out true. So does 1 equal -1/2 times 0 plus 1? Well, 0 times anything is 0, so we got 0 plus 1. which does equal 1. So you would say yes. And it just says to show your work, so you get to leave it at that because you showed your work and you came up with the right answer. On this one, they've reversed the x and the y. So this time, 0 goes in here and 1 goes in there. So we're going to see if that comes out true or not. So this would be 0. Does that equal negative 1/2 times 1 plus 1? So it's negative 1/2 plus 1, which is just 1/2. So does 0 equal 1/2? No, it doesn't. So this is not on the line. Okay, and then on C, we're going to try this again. So 21 goes in for y and negative 40 goes in for x. Let's see if it comes out equal. So negative 1/2 times negative 40 plus 1, and negative times the negative is a positive, and half of 40 is 20. So 20 plus 1, does that equal 21? Yes, it does. Yes, on the line. So there we go. Done with number 3. Okay, moving along to number 4. So write a rule or equation for the tables below. This is what we started the whole year doing. Okay, so we've spent so much time figuring out the rule for these. Hopefully, these are going to be very manageable for you. Notice in all of them we have the 0, so we don't even have to count to the 0. We're just going to figure out. First off, remember, when you write the equation line, you want two things. You want m and b, and we're going to put it into y equals mx plus b. So as we find them, I'm going to put them in. So b is the y-intercept. That just goes there, so negative 1. We've got that part. M is the growth rate comparing the y values to the x values. So we've got to do the change in the y over the change in the x. And you can do that anywhere along the line. So from there to there, it goes up 2. From there to there, it goes up 2. Well, this goes up 1 on this side. So our growth or our slope is 2 over 1. So we just reduce that to 2. So those are the two numbers we need. So our multiplication number is 2. And our plus minus number is negative 1. So just replace the m and the b with the results that we had over there. So those two numbers go in for m and b, and you've got your equation, y equals 2x minus 1. All right, on this one here, let's see, we're looking for m and b. Oops. So b is just 6, right? So it's wherever you take the pattern to 0, and there it is, and it's already given it to you. So all we got to do is figure out how much we're going up by. Going up by 3 on this side and going up by 1 on this side. So that means our multiplication number, our slope, is going to be 3 over 1, or 3. So our equation will just be y equals 3x plus 6. There you go. All right, next one. M and B. So B again is 1. The growth, we got to be careful with this because it's a little bit out of order. Looks like maybe, I wonder if we got some typo in here. Maybe we will fix that because it is not right. This should have been a 1 and this should have been a 2. I will tell my colleagues to fix that, and then when you see yours won't even be messed up. Just minus. So we're going to assume that's a 1 and that's 2. Okay, so there we go. So y-intercept is still 1. Then it grows by 4 each time as this is growing by 1. So our slope is 4 over 1, or 4. When we put it into the equation, that would be y equals 4x plus 1. Now don't get lulled to sleep because this one over here is a little bit trickier. Notice that this side is going up by 2. So we have to be really careful when we do our slope on this one. So slope, y-intercept. So the b, again, is where x equals 0. So that number goes right there, negative 1. Then the growth here goes up 1 on the right, but it's going up 2 for the x. So remember, our slope is the change in y over the change in x. And so that would be 1 over 2. So when we go and write our equation, it's going to be y equals 1/2 x minus 1. There we go. Okay, let's see here. I've got about 3 minutes to get as far as I can before I have to cut this and start again at lunchtime. Starting with number 5, because I'm recording this during my prep period 3. So let's see here, starting over here. On these ones, these are in slope-intercept form, or all 3 are in slope-intercept form. So this is where you start on the y. So you always start on the y with these ones. And then these are the directions. So the slope or directions. And this one says start at -3 on the y, which would be down here. And then we are going to go up 3, because that's a positive 3, and to the right 4, because that's a positive 4. So up 1, 2, 3, and to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, right there. And then connect. Don't forget to connect on the test and draw the arrows. Those are important. And moving on to this next one. So this one starts at +5, right there. That's where you start. And then this one, slope is not a fraction, so make it a fraction. The top number's negative, so that's down. Bottom number's positive, so that's right. So you're going to go down 2, right 1. And there you go. If you want to do a bunch of points, you can. Helps you be more accurate, but it is not necessary. You only need 2 points to draw a line. So there's that one. This one, x is missing. So that means it's going to go across the y-axis. This is the y-axis at -4. So find -4 on the y-axis, because it says y equals -4. That's down here. And then just make a horizontal line across. So that is the graph of that one. If it were x equal something, you would do a vertical line. Be ready for that on the test. Okay, rewrite these in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b form. And I think I'm going to pause there and then pick this up again at lunchtime. Okay, so picking up where I left off here. So for these ones, we're going to rewrite the following equations in slope-intercept form. Remember, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So the goal here is to isolate y. So on this first one, here's my y. The first thing you want to do is add 6x to both sides. You get 3y equals, now since the 6x and 12, they are not like terms, we're just going to put them next to each other, and we're just adding them together, and you can add in any direction you want, commutative property. So I get to choose where I want it. So I want the 6x to be closer to the equal sign, because that's what it looks like in slope-intercept form. The x term is closer to the equal sign. So I want to make sure I do that. It'll save me a step later. So it's going to be 6x here plus 12 there. Then the last thing to isolate y that I need to do is get rid of the number that's multiplying to it. So I'm going to divide by 3. Do that on both sides. And this is technically the distributive property of multiplication, but I'm not going to get into that now. You need to divide both of those terms by 3. So we're going to get 2x, and we're going to get 4. So 2x plus 4. There it is in slope-intercept form. There's your slope. There's your y-intercept. Okay, this one, same idea. Isolate y. We're going to move the x term first. It's a positive 4x, so we're going to subtract 4x. Here and here. Now, the 4x is gone, but we didn't get rid of that minus sign. That stays with the 3. So one of the biggest mistakes is when people drop that negative sign away from the coefficient there. So we need to make sure we remember it's a negative 3y. It's going to equal, now this is 21 minus 4x, or 21 plus negative 4x. So that's how we're going to do it. We're going to put the negative 4x in the front and the plus 21 out to the right. And then we can finish this one up. Excuse me, sorry about my voice. By dividing by 3, or negative 3. So that's gone, and y is going to equal whatever this is. Now, a negative divided by a negative is a positive, and 4 over 3 doesn't divide without a remainder, so we're going to leave it as a fraction, 4/3 x. And then over here, the 21 divided by -3 is going to be -7. So that's B. Moving on over here to C. Same two steps again. This is a 1x. So we're going to add 1x to both sides. And we've got 4y equals, and then again, the x goes to the left, the constant out to the right, so x plus 5. And let's think of this as a 1x, because that'll be helpful when we divide by 4 to see what the slope is. So now we got y equals, so when it goes in here, the 1 and the 4 don't divide, so just leave it as 1/4 x, and then the 5 and the 4 don't divide, so we're just going to leave it as 5/4, and thankfully, we are not asked to graph that. Looks like we're going to get an announcement here, doing this at lunch, so I'll wait for a second. Okay, there we go. So now, same thing on these ones. Oh, no, never, sorry, not same thing. That was changing, but we don't have the change in graph on these. Oh, well. I think it got edited out of my original version. So these ones, we're going to find the x and y intercepts, and then we're going to plot those in graph. So these ones, we're not going to change them like we did on these. See, these ones would be all set for graphing. You could just go ahead and graph. Like this one, you could start at 4 and go up to right 1, draw your line. Okay, this one, you would start at -7 down here and go up 4, right 3, and so that would be up 4, right 3, and draw your line. And then this one, thankfully we don't have to graph it, but you'd start at 1 1/4 and then go up 1, right 4. But these ones we're going to graph using the intercepts. That was that other method that we learned, sometimes called the zeros method, where you put the 0 in for the other variable. So if you want to know the x-intercept, you put a 0 in for y. If you want to know the y-intercept, you put a 0 in for x. So we're going to do that. So put your 0 in here, and 3x minus 0. So you get 3x minus 0 equals 9, and then you solve what's left over. This is the only time I'm going to do it this way. Normally, I just cover it up and see what the answer is. So minus 0, it's like we don't even need it. So let's get rid of it. And then to solve for x, we're going to divide by 3 on both sides. We'll get x equals 3. I probably should put all that work on the other side since the x-intercept I have over there. So the x-intercept is 3. Then we're going to repeat that with the 0 in for x to find the y-intercept. So it goes in there, and we're going to do 3 times 0 minus y equals 9. 3 times 0 is gone, so I'm just going to erase it. And then this is like a -1y, so if I divide by -1, we'll get y equals -9, and that is our y-intercept. So x-intercept is 3, 0. Y-intercept is 0, -9. You put those 2 points on the graph and connect them. So 3, 0 here, that's the x-intercept. And then 0, -9. So count all the way down to -9 down there, and then connect. Kind of like that. So 2 points to draw the line, x-intercept, y-intercept. Over here on this one, same thing, we're going to do the little table. XY table, 0 in for y to find the x, 0 in for x to find the y. This time as I go through it, I'm just going to kind of cover it up and then uncover it. So if I put a 0 in for y, 2 times 0 is 0. It's like it's not even there. I just solve the leftover equation, dividing by 6. Find out that x equals 3. And then I just erase and start over. So then I put the 0 in for x. 6 times 0 is 0, so it's gone. Just divide by 2 to find the y-intercept. Y equals 9. So actually, I can just leave that there. So now we're going to go graph these. So we got 3, 0, and 0, 9. So we're going to graph these. So we got 3, 0, and then 0, 9. very similar to the other one we just did. And moving on, third one. Again, the zeros for the intercepts. 0 in for y, it's gone, and the x-intercept is -3, so get rid of that. And then 0 in for x, it's gone, divide by 3, and you get the y-intercept of 5. Just do it in your head, okay? Let's just leave it, I guess. So then x-intercept is -3, 0. Y-intercept is 0, 5. So there's the y-intercept. And the x-intercept, -3, 0. And then you connect to draw the line. Please always remember to put the arrows at the end. It shows you know it goes, it shows that you know it goes forever. Okay, number 8. So we're writing the equation or rule for each graph. So remember when you write the equation of a line, like we did at the very beginning of this worksheet, you need two numbers. You need the slope and the y-intercept, the m and the b, so that you can put it into y equals mx plus b. B is the easiest one to find. It's always right there where it crosses the y-axis. So it goes right there. So let's put it down here at 3. The slope is the change in y over the change in x. So basically, as you go from one point here to here, or from this one to this one, you pick any 2 points you want. And I like to work left to right. So as I work left to right, if I go this way here, in order to get there, I have to go along the city street. So I got to go down 3 blocks and right 1 block. So my slope, because it's the change in y, the vertical change over the horizontal change. So vertical is on top, up and down is on top, left and right is on the bottom, positive is up, negative is down, positive is right, negative is left. So what did I do? I went down 3, so that's -3, went right 1, so that's +1. Altogether, that makes a slope of -3. So slope is -3, so to write the equation, you just put those two numbers in here and here, and it'll be y equals -3x plus 3. Okay, moving on to the next one. So this one, there's no graph paper, but they show you the vertical and horizontal change. So M and B. So B, again, is just where it goes across the y-axis. They said it goes at 10. And then remember, the vertical over the horizontal for the slope. So the vertical here is up 4. So 4 on the top, and the horizontal is +1, +1. So that just reduces to 4. So our slope is 4, our y-intercept is 10, and our equation would be y equals 4x plus 10. Okay, let's see, is that it for those two? Yeah, okay, so for this one, consider the equation. What is the slope? Okay, 5 is the slope. What is the y-intercept? 7 is the y-intercept. That's pretty easy. And I think that is it. So I'm going to just scroll slowly through this one last time so you can take a look at it, but I'm also going to post it on Canvas so you don't have to worry about it. So here we go. Slowly. Later you can pause this video at home, rewatch it, see what you need to work on or study, if anything. And just about there. There's 8 and 9.